Hey YouTube, how's it going? This is Gamester81 and thank you for tuning in. In today's episode we are going to take a closer look at the Magnavox Odyssey 2 system, released in 1978. It's considered a second generation system. As most of you guys know, the Magnavox Odyssey 1 was the very first home console with interchangeable games. I use that term lightly because actually their carts were like circuit board carts, but they would kind of change the game enough where it's unique. And 6 years later, here we jump ahead to 1978. Here we are with Magnavox looking to enter the market again with the success of Atari 2600 in 1977. So we're going to take a closer look at the system itself. We'll see some gameplay, a little bit about the history. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Here is a closer look at the Magnavox Odyssey 2. The system was released in 1982 in North America. It's also known as a Philips VideoPac in Europe. It was very popular over there. And what's kind of unique about the system is it had a keyboard, and the keyboards were kind of like a membrane keyboard. It didn't really work very well, but had a calculator and built-in calculator, and there's some programs you can do for it as well, which is kind of unique. So they were definitely marketing it towards a computer as well. I mean, if you see in the corner here, it says microprocessor, which is interesting. The games are very unique in design. They have a kind of built-in handle. There's a board in there as well. There were about 85 games released total for the Odyssey 2. 69 of those games were released by Magnavox or Philips. The remaining few were released by third parties, so it had kind of a weak third-party support. I think Parker Brothers was probably the biggest third-party publisher for the Odyssey 2, and they released games like Frogger and other games like that, but I think Popeye might have been on the Odyssey 2 as well. The graphics are fairly equivalent to Channel F, Atari 2600 as well, so it was definitely, you know, looking back on it, it hasn't aged very well, the graphics, but hey, it's 32 years old, so you can't give it too much grief. But the games will plug in to like this, like so. It's nice and snug. And then this is your power button right here. Okay. And there's two different versions of the Odyssey 2. Version 1 had controllers that were like silver, and the controllers actually could come out. They were detachable. This version, which they released later, were black controllers, and they were actually hardwired into the system, which is really annoying, to be honest with you, because trying to organize the controllers makes it very difficult when it's hardwired directly into it. Pretty basic design though. You got your on button here. This is your switch button right here. Turn this around, show you the back. This is where the AC adapter would plug into 120 volts, and that's pretty much it. I mean, pretty self-explanatory as far as everything else. Kind of a heavy unit. They did release also in 1978. They released an add-on. It's called the Voice. Okay, and this actually, let's take out the game here. And what this would do, there was only a few games that could use it for, but it would actually attach on the very top, like so. You can still turn it on and off. And then this is the volume, and it basically allowed games, put it on the top here, and it allowed games to have like a synthesized voice to it as well, which is pretty cool. Unfortunately, this system only lasted really up until 1983 with a video game crash. About 2 million units were sold, so it did fairly well, but compared to the Atari 2600, didn't nearly make a dent as far as sales goes for that. But it basically went gone in 1983 when the video game crash hit. Let's check out some gameplay for it, and I hope you guys enjoy. Thanks. Actually, before I show you gameplay, I want to show you some boxes I have. I own probably, I don't know, maybe 20 or so games for the Odyssey 2. Most of them are okay. A lot of them are not okay. It says Speed Out. This includes Speed Up, Spin Out, and Crypto Logic, whatever that is. But Speed Out's kind of a racing game and stuff like this. So the box is actually still sealed, so I was really lucky to have that. And there's 3 of these like strategy games that came out for it. I have 2 of the 3. This is Conquest of the World, and this is Quest for the Rings. This game right here, Quest for the Rings, is a lot like Dungeons and Dragons meets Lord of the Rings kind of style. And these games would, you know, it's really cool because it would come with a game, and it would come with a board game, you know, have a board thing, and you actually play. So it was really cool. It was very unique for a time. So this is the instruction manual to it. How cool is that, right? Definitely cool collector pieces. And you basically, this shows you how to play, and you use a board game along with the Odyssey 2. Let's open this up. How cool is that? So if you're into D&D, and if you're into like Lord of the Rings, stuff like that, this is definitely going to check out. There's all these pieces for it as well. This is probably the best of the 3 you pick up. And then you also had Conquest of the World. This thing's actually upside down. I'm missing some items for this, but this is the Conquest of the World cards. And again, you have a different board, which is pretty cool. And again, you'd use the game and you use it to play with a board game, so it's kind of unique. So that was kind of really cool that Magnavox would release these things, and there's only 3 of them that were that came out. So, but now let's move on to the gameplay. Check out Casey Munchin. This is a Pac-Man clone. Came out in 1981, and it's kind of a fairly rare title. You can get it. It's not that expensive, but it's fairly rare. Now, the difference you'll see between this and Pac-Man are their moving pellets, or they call them Munchies in this game. The blinking ones are the super pellets, and when you move, the bars disappear, which make it really hard. And you can actually stop in this, unlike Pac-Man where he keeps moving. You actually stop. So the goal, obviously, just like Pac-Man, is you're supposed to go around and collect all these Munchies to clear this board. There's less enemies in this game than in Pac-Man, but it's kind of a fun game, and it's different every time. Every time you start it, there's different levels, so it's kind of random. And you can actually create your own stage too. Now the thing is, when this game came out in 1981, Atari was really pissed off about it. In fact, they took Magnavox to court because it was so similar to Pac-Man, because they had exclusive rights to Pac-Man on the home consoles. They initially lost, but then they appealed it, and they won. So what happened was Magnavox was forced to take this game off the market, and it makes it kind of a rare game. I wouldn't say it's that expensive, to be honest with you. Probably pick it up for 15 bucks, if that, but it's kind of a unique game. Definitely if you have an Odyssey 2, it's definitely a game to get. It's a part of video game history, and it's very similar to Pac-Man, but it's a little different. There were a lot of Pac-Man clones back in the day. Let's check out the sequel. Okay, here's the sequel. This is Casey's Crazy Chase, released in 1982, a year later. You can play this with the voice. Unfortunately, my voice attachment is not wanting to cooperate with me for this video, so I won't be able to share that with you, but I will try to get it fixed or get a new one, and I'll show you what it sounds like in a future video. But the object of this is to avoid your enemies, and see that Dratapillar, it's like a caterpillar looking thing? You're supposed to eat him. And so the whole idea is that Magnavox was so pissed at Atari for suing them that they released this game where you're eating one of Atari's main guys, which is a caterpillar from So this is the first stage. It does get progressively harder, and the voice doesn't really add anything. I mean, it's cool to hear the talking sounds and stuff, especially for the early 80s or late 70s, I should say. But let's see if we can get this guy. These 2 guys are really annoying. You can get those things to worry about too. There we go. Aha. Perfect. So you guys get the idea, but really fun game. This is actually one of the most popular games for the Magnavox Odyssey 2. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll have another video up soon. Take care. Alright, bye.